urban farming, before you start, you want to ask yourself the right questions. Eliminating a lot of the unknowns in a new venture it's pretty impossible, but insight can greatly improve your chances for success. So these are the types of questions you want to ask yourself. Am I a self-starter? Am I capable of developing projects, organizing, and following through with plans? How well do I get along with different personalities? Can you work with all types of people, from customers to bankers to consultants or employees, neighbors in this case, the community? Do you make thoughtful decisions, especially as a small business or if you're working with a small group of people? You're going to be solely responsible for most of the decisions that you're going to have to make when it comes to business, or what type of produce you want to grow. So are you able to make those types of decisions? Do you also have the emotional and physical strength? So you're going to be working most likely about 6 to 7 days a week. It is urban farming. You're going to have to water a lot. And can you do that for 12 hours, 6 to 7 days a week? And emotionally get your business started? Are you willing and able to commit to that? Because you're going to have to, keep your full-time job and then also do this on the side.
So I didn't know that this was like a business venture. I didn't know that you got a plot.
Yeah, you can do this for profit.
You can, but you don't have to.
You can do a community garden.
Oh, okay.
We're talking a little bit more today about, a lot of this could apply to a community garden, especially if you're going to be applying for grants, or you're going to be marketing yourself as a group, as a team, as a business.
Okay.
And a lot of times, even as a community garden, you might want to get incorporated or have some kind of ownership over it, so that you're keeping, business and things like this separate from your personal life too.
So you just can't go in, buy a plot of land, grow garden, grow things on it, and that's it. It has to really.
No, you can do that.
You can do that in the back of your house tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you wanted to do that just as a community garden, whatever.
Or just for yourself. That's fine.
Yeah.
My sister and I have one together. That really doesn't involve the neighborhood, but we do it because we like to do it, and then we give the produce to the neighbors and whatever.
But you don't have to, if you and your sister, you don't have to
we don't sell food.
Or make it any type of business venture.
No, we have.
No one will make you, ever start a business, so that's not something that you wanted to do.
Okay.
This is how to do it. This is how to do it. If you want to do it.
Oh, just leave it down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know where that air came from, but thank you, Lord.
I think the man upstairs didn't like something you said.
It's like entrepreneurship. No. So another type of question that you'd want to ask yourself, and I guess this could apply to community gardens as well, because anytime that you're going to be organizing a group of people, you really want to think about some of these types of questions. Also, just a sidetrack to keep going down the community garden side, you never know if it's something that, if you get enough people behind, that maybe that it gets big enough, you could do for profit one day. So you want to think about who's going to be doing the work. If you want to start out small and you want to keep your day job, if you're starting any business, this way you can have a steady income. And like I said, this may require those long hours mentioned before, so you really want to be prepared to work. You want to ask if you can collaborate with your friends and your family and keep those relationships strong at the same time, because you're going to want to ask, the people closest to you for help and assistance, especially if you can't afford it all the time. So you want to make sure that you're not asking them to do too much work, but that you're able to have that relationship with them, collaborate, and have a group of people support behind you. And you also want to ask yourself if you should hire someone or if you can afford to hire someone. This might mean higher costs. It takes trust, training. Sometimes it even takes insurance and taxes, and you want to find out if that's a right thing for you, if that's the right thing for your venture. So you want to think about how you're going to pay for some of these expenses before the money starts coming in. So you want to look at personal resources. This is risky. We talked about this a little bit last time, but it's pretty practical. You can use your savings, your credit cards, credit line on your house. You can maintain this way you would maintain complete financial and operational control over your business, because you're not going to have any co-owners or owe any or have to pay off if the company hits it really big. You wouldn't have to pay partners. Business venture, even with someone in your family, you might just want to write it down, get it on paper, really outline what that relationship looks like. That way there's no questions in the future if you really make it big when you're splitting the costs or splitting the profits and things like that. Then there's always bank financing, so you can borrow money from a bank, and then this way you can keep your business totally separate from your personal finances. And then there's grants, and especially for community gardening or economic development, there's a lot of grants out there that'll help get your businesses jump started. And what's really great about these is a lot of times grants don't require any payback, so it's sort of free booster money.
Do you have any idea where we could apply for these grants?
Yes, so at the Philadelphia Library, that is on Parkway, on the Parkway. They actually have a whole database system there that's free to use. And they're actually, the librarians there are extremely helpful. It's in like its own room. It's just for people who are applying for foundation grants or small grants and or even large grants. It's like a whole database. Second floor. It's an amazing free resource, because I know if you try to get access to some of these grant databases personally, it can be like crazy expensive to get a membership. So it's really great that the library here does that for you. So it's
and it doesn't have to just be for community gardening.
Yeah, this is
a whole
entire database.
There are grants for almost any topic that you can think of.
And like I said, I think the librarian that works in that room is specifically to help people who are accessing the database on the
utilize
computers.
that free library a lot.
Oh yeah.
I do lecture programs for children, so I'm always down there trying to get something out of it.
It's great. It's a really, really great resource to have.
I know in the children's department they're extremely helpful. So I can imagine in other departments of the
did everyone get a packet? Maybe one more in the back.
I can share hers.
No, we've got enough.
Wait, she doesn't have a chair?
What's that?
Do you have a chair?
Yeah. Should BYO chair. Does everyone have one now? Yeah, I have one.
Okay.
And then another really great way to find out about grants also, if you have, well, for any type of grant, but specifically what I use for, I'm part of Puffin, which is the Philadelphia Urban Farm Network, and it's done through Google+. So it's really, you can sort of just Google how to join these kinds of groups, but you get emails from sort of this whole network of people who are interested in the same kind of thing you're interested in. And that's actually how I found out about the grant that we got money from Northeast Sustainable Agricultural Research and Education Foundation that gave us the grant for this. So I found out.
One more time.
I know, that was a lot of information.
Say it again.
So there's on Google
University of Vermont.
Yeah, the University of Vermont.
University of Vermont.
Yeah, who gave us the grant for this program.
First urban grant they ever gave. They're normally working with farmers that are true soil farmers with tractors and large farms. This is the first time they gave a grant. They actually sent someone here to check Laura out to make sure
that
there was even a garden.
That was funny. He was like this, well.
He was a little nerdy. He was
like a hippie Vermonter.
I don't think he'd ever been in the city before. I don't even know if he's in any city before. But he was certainly not ever in West Philly before.
Okay, gotcha. You could feel the dirt in his toes.
I could feel the dirt in his toes and the fear in his eyes.
No, but he was great, and
you're not Kansas for Mount Pilgrim anymore.
And I want to be back in Kansas.
Yeah, but I think grants are some of the best ways to get started because you don't have to pay back. So business planning. This is sort of a guideline for, sometimes like the phrase business plan can be kind of intimidating because you think, I mean, I know when I was sort of writing grant proposals, it seemed like a really intimidating the ways to get help getting started, and then what people expect a lot in business plans when they read them. So on newpa.com, I have a bunch of links here for you if you are able to have access to the internet, and if not, I know the libraries have computers that you can use also.
Most phones do. Most phones do.
Right. But the Entrepreneurship Guide is on the newpa.com website. It's totally free. It's a really great resource for a new entrepreneur if you want to take a look at that. It's pretty long, but it has an outline for everything that's in it, so you can sort of pick and choose what you want, or you can read the whole thing. So it's pretty easy to navigate. It's all online too, so you don't have to print it out.
For putting together a business plan?
It's an Entrepreneurship Guide. But then if you want to get in-person expert assistance, I gave a couple different resources here. So Wharton Small Business Development Center have been really helpful for small businesses in Philadelphia, especially in West Philadelphia. There are links there, and you can contact them through the link or stop in their offices, which are on Vance Hall, which are at Vance Hall.
3rd and Spruce?
Right, no, this is 377 Spruce Street. I have to look it up. I guess it's 3rd and Spruce.
It's almost 4th and
Yeah.
Spruce.
But I know they have an office in University City too, so I should give that also, which I'm sure you can find on their website.
Okay, because you have two addresses, two different addresses. One is 3733 Street, that's on the bottom.
Yeah, that's a typo then.
Okay.
I was like, I'm pretty sure Vance Hall is in University City.
Yeah.
So, okay, good. At least I have it correctly there. So, yeah, that didn't sound right. And then the Center for Entrepreneurial Assistance. This is a government agency, and they assist with state-related and general business questions, such as registration and license requirements. If you just have like an on-the-fly type of question, you can call that hotline. And then there's
oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You can get this free guide, the Entrepreneurial Guide, to get the interstate representatives office.
they print them. They have them
They
printed
have
out.
them printed up, and they.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's great.
So I got one. So.
Oh, I didn't know that. And then also PA Open for Business. They're great help with exploring some of your financial options. You can download some of the important business forms to start a business, and you can actually electronically register your business at their site as well.
Wait a minute, I couldn't hear you with the L.
I'm sorry. So PA Open for Business on that third bullet, second big bullet, third bullet down.
Oh, okay.
The PA Open for Business, they're really great with when you're trying to explore your different financial options. And then you're also able to electronically register a business through them. And then I also gave you 2 links for your employee identification number, which is something that we talked about yesterday. And this is to create a separate entity from yourself as a sole proprietorship. So instead you'd be starting to get your EIN number, so you could be registered as a business instead, so that you're keeping your business life and your personal life separate. And there's 2 ways to do that. It's free, from what I understand, right? Apply for your federal ID number.
Yeah.
And you can either apply, print the form out and send it through the mail, or you can do it right online. And I actually think it only takes about 24 hours to get it if you do it online.
That's to get your EIN.
Right. So that's with the federal government, with the IRS. And then also on the newpa.com website, I found 16 pages of resources just in Pennsylvania that can help you with funding to start a small business, and this includes resources for grants as well.
Now, in applying for the grant, do they have specific forms, or do you just write a basic letter telling what you're doing?
I would love to teach a class just on how to write a grant, because it's a little bit different. So it depends on the foundation, but typically what foundations will do is they send out an RFP, which is a request for proposal. And what that means is they have like X amount of dollars that they need to spend, or they want to spend on, let's say in our situation, urban farming or community gardening in urban areas. So say they have $1 million to give out, and they want to give out 10 grants from that $1 million. A lot of times they'll either be like, just send us a budget that looks, that covers $100,000 and give us your vision, what you see. Or most of the time what they'll do is have really specific questions they want to answer. So in that request for proposal, they'll ask you in your proposal, please, tell me how many people will be involved, who will be the top person. But a lot of times with the more generic requests, writing up a type of business plan is what you want to do. So if you flip to the next page too, we'll talk a little bit more about what business plans or even grant proposals in some cases might look like.
Give the example of even how you got your first grant. What did they ask for that you responded to?
Oh, I have to pull it. I don't.
But you remember, was it a very specific, or did they just ask you what you wanted to do for the urban?
I was allowed to be like pretty creative with it. Oh, you have a copy of it?
What a guy! What an intern! What an intern! All right, on the ball.
Is that even it?
Yeah, no, this is it. It's funny.
Because this is an example, and it's the first time she applied, and she got
yeah,
one
so we can definitely pass
without
this
any prior knowledge, just kind of shooting from the hip.
So what I did first was I saw the request for proposals, and I looked at, I think this was their Sustainable Community Grant, and I looked at some of the past projects that had gotten funding, because I kind of wanted to see, okay, what were they doing right?
They're online.
Right, and most foundations will post
who got the money.
Who got the money, and if they don't post like very specific details, usually whoever was granted the money on their website would. So this Northeast SARE, which is an extension of the University of Vermont, had really detailed examples of their projects.
And
so
that's on the website for Vermont.
Yeah. It's on, if you even look at the cover page of the packets, they're the ones who sponsor us at the bottom. So you can sort of just Google that. Yeah. So their funds come from USDA grants. So it's sort of like they're funded and then they fund other people. Yeah, but they were looking for proposals $15,000 or less to do anything with sustainable communities in sort of the research or education field. So this was one of those education grants. But yeah, so you can actually, I'll pass this around, and they asked, they wanted the project title, the project summary, what's the problem that we're dealing with and why is it important? How will your project address this issue? What will your methods be? How will you measure your results? And how will the results make your community more sustainable? And then they asked more about like who's your project leader and who are the people you're going to collaborate with. So they do want to see you have like some history, or why give you the money? Like why should we fund you? Like okay, you made a case for your project, but why are you going to be a good leader for this project? So those are sort of the questions you typically see. But again, like every request for proposal is different. So it really depends on what foundation you're looking at and what they really want. Because a lot of them have, their board of directors and their trustees have specific kind of projects they want to fund.